Hey guys, welcome to the latest edition of UGC. We're going to be doing something a little bit different this week, which we'll get into in a moment. I'm Anla,
I'm Denson.
and as usual, we have the usual suspects lined up against the wall. None of them are actually Kaiser Sose. Say hi, Alondra.
Hey, that wall is pretty weak against force punches, you know.
It's true. It's like in Deus Ex, where it's like where you punch through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say hi, Alu.
I'm Alu. I used Biochem before. It was cool.
Yes, because we're going to get onto that later. Say hi, Wolfie.
Hi, I got a name change.
I'm really surprised no one has actually just done the whole say hi, Wolfie, and just said hi, Wolfie. Maybe me. Okay. Blaine, you there?
As always.
Cash, are you ready to wrestle us back on topic?
I will do whatever it takes to keep us going.
Hot.
Anything.
Mary, are you actually going to speak this time?
My goal is 5 words.
And he just completed
Did
it.
you count that before you
Well,
said
you're
that?
done.
I did.
And he's now silent. And, Valak.
What do you want? Oh, hi.
Okay, so we've gathered here to...
Shut up, Aldo.
Sorry.
And Mary just wrote in TeamSpeak chat.
Why are
Didn't
you
even say, just
typing?
wrote in TeamSpeak
You
chat.
have a mic.
Did not count that beforehand. So what we're going to do is we're going to get back a bit more to what started this whole idea of doing the UGC podcast, which was basically a bunch of us in a chat room talking about stuff. I've got a couple of things I want the guys specifically to kind of channel their hatred on. Give in to your rage. But first we're going to go over the available 1.1 patch notes, which are scheduled according to BioWare's Facebook to go live on the 17th of January. I think it is. You guys, I'm right there, right?
That seems to be right, yeah.
Believe so.
Okay.
Well, let's
so
change it.
what we've done is we've gone over what patch notes are available and stuff that has been data farmed. Well, we've kind of ignored the data farming really because we're not sure if it's true. We've just gone with the notes that are on the BioWare site, and we've picked out some of the more highlight parts. This first one, I'm going to kind of point in the direction of Alu because this is one of his favorite tricks. You can no longer force sleep to your Hollow Dancer. Is that correct?
Yes. And it makes getting to Datacrons a lot harder.
Yeah. So, for those of us that didn't buy the $700 collector's edition, the Hollow Dancer is what?
It's a little gimmick. It's a probe that deploys a holodancer, Twi'lek, and you can use with your level 50 Juggernaut ability the kind of jump, I forgot the name, Intercede or something like this. Yes. You can use it to jump to allied targets and give them a 20% damage reduction or defense bonus, I think. And the holodancer counts as a friendly target.
So, exploit, please ban him, BioWare, please.
Hey, I only used
Don't
it to
ban
piss
him. He
off
puts guard on me in the
Theocles.
battlegrounds.
That's his only use.
The only one?
Well, that and he stims himself to hilarious proportions. But we'll get into that a little later too.
Yes, that
We'll
we
get
will
into that
definitely
later.
get into.
The Stim King is slowly being removed from his throne.
No, he's still our OG Stim King, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
BioWare
definitely
is
gonna be the
slowly trying to
reigning
get rid
Stim
of his
King.
stims.
There
Okay,
will just
this
be
is-
more of us.
this next one is one that I am very, very happy about, given my recent turn to the bounty hunter, because Mako has a habit of making me do this. Companion healing is no longer going to make the player model glow green indefinitely.
Finally.
But I
It
Finally.
was a little
glowing green.
irritating.
I just
Um,
said glowing green.
It gets very irritating when you're in your end of act story and you go into the final dramatic cutscene and you are glowing green in the cutscene.
I blame Quinn for that.
So this next one was kind of the baby of Valak. So I think we're going to go through this, but this kind of touches on everything that all of our level 50s here.
I don't have babies. I use protection.
Oh, okay. That's what all the Sith say.
Wow.
So I think I'm the only one here that doesn't actually have a 50.
No, you're not the only one.
Okay, but you were out of the game for a week. So
That doesn't give me any
I'm a slow leveler. Really slow.
You have an excuse, and you've been
I have
discovering the joys of PvP.
Oh, yes.
So let's get all of our level 50s in on this.
Okay.
Ilum is seeing some changes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hopefully
Okay.
for the better.
Some needed changes, because at the moment, yeah. Well,
Mr. Far away from his mic over
Blaine,
how's that?
better.
Wow.
there. Dude, you were further off of your microphone than John Kerry got from the plot of any of his presidential speeches.
Hey,
Jesus Christ, can we leave the political shit out of the
hey,
We're
we
still
had
talking about
basically-
religion,
Pope
now we're
in the
talking
last
about politics.
podcast, so why not get political in this?
And the
one?
funny part is, Blaine isn't even American, so you're really
And neither am
screwing
I.
him over.
Basically, the way that Ilum works now is that
Nice.
Back on.
That didn't last long.
Nothing happened here. This was not the conversation you were looking for.
Okay, Cash, carry on.
Resolve
Soldier
bar
on, my
up
friend.
by 100.
the way that the PvP area works is that you have to go to 5 different points in the global war area, the planet area, and you shoot your grenade launcher at
Rocket
the Republic rocket launcher,
Shut
grenade
up.
launcher, rocket launcher, at the Republic walkers or at the Republic base turrets. And the way that it works now is that on weekly refresh days, which is normally Tuesday, everybody goes out there and they go to one point, probably the central point because it's in the center, and they flip. Yeah, basically, instead of fighting, what happens is the Imperial forces will stand next to the Republic walkers and shoot them, and the Imperials will cap that area, and then immediately following, the Republics who are standing next to the Imperial walkers will shoot them, which caps it for the Republic side, and it'll just flip back and forth, and it's come to be known colloquially as flipping. And it's a really cheap way, and I've done it myself because it's in the game right now. It's borderline exploit, but it's a really easy way to get the weekly done as well as the dailies each day. You don't see it so much on the dailies, but when the weekly refreshes, it's there constantly. And what they're doing is they're making it so that in order to get credit for the dailies, you'll have to either attack players, or it sounds like there will be nodes of quote-unquote weapons that you can gather for the troops and whatnot that you'll have to collect instead. So I'm really looking forward to actually having to fight people instead of just flipping.
Do you not think that if it's nodes, that you're just not going to flip nodes?
No, people. A lot of people these days are far too aggressive and will just want to get it done. So they will just kill each other for these nodes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
See, that's the
hoping
problem
that
right now, is with
I'm
what
just,
Cash just
I'm not gonna
covered,
kill anyone. I'm
there
just gonna
is
force
no
pushing them away,
cause
collect them, and walk away.
for aggression. It actually
Yeah.
promotes you to stand there with the opposing faction and just flip them back and forth so you can get it done.
Which is, I mean,
Okay.
there's two sides to this. I mean, the fact that, when I attack somebody, people got mad at me for killing someone. But also, what I'm worried about is that if they are going to make it kills, the whole idea of Ilum's objectives could just be gone. And that'd be upsetting because the main feature of this, which is the massive walkers that you need to destroy, they won't have any. They'll just be pointless anyway now. So what's the point in them?
What a good idea would be, which I just came up with, is for an example, you have to kill a number of enemy players, then you can get some kind of commendations, can buy a rocket launcher, and can shoot those 3 walkers and get the point.
Well, you do
And
have
then, like, a review
the
commendations.
fix that's coming in 1.1. That is, players will gain more valor depending on how many points they hold.
Players can
Actually,
already get a 200% Valor buff in there right now that carries on to the battlegrounds when they've completed their objectives. So it's not a good thing to have this buff. We want a static bonus for PvP in Ilum, and stop giving out bags for doing this flipping crap. On my personal opinion, give out tokens for kills. Give us a reason to go after the enemy faction, but incorporate it into doing these objectives.
I mean,
Yeah,
actually,
okay.
what Alu said is actually a really good idea because you have to kill the enemies to do the objectives, and that keeps your objectives in the as an actual useful feature, and it also makes killing necessary. So
Well, let's
I mean,
not theorycraft this stuff too much, because we're talking about this should be the patch instead of what is the patch. Let's talk about the effect of what the patch that is coming out. Like, let's not we can do a whole, and I really want to do this soon. I want to do a whole PvP theorycraft. This is what we would like to see show.
A revamp, pretty much.
Well, okay, if we want to just keep it more to direct patch notes, they are increasing the amount of valor you will be getting while you're in Ilum, which is good
Yeah.
as a baseline, but it still doesn't provide what you need.
What I'm thinking is we need to look at what is coming in and how it will affect what is already there.
I'm definitely hyped that they're adding the res points. That's a good thing.
Yes.
The problem is that they haven't been very specific about how many people you need to kill, or if it's only people you need to kill to complete the daily. So we're sort of going off of the very slim information that they've actually given us.
Yeah, they have
we
been
just
pretty
know,
vague.
We
Okay.
just know that it's going to change. We don't know how yet.
Okay.
And I'm really hoping that by a notification is displayed when a player gains Valor isn't some big thing on my screen saying, "You've gained Valor." I really don't care.
But one thing is
Now,
that the
what
Valor.
are particle cannons?
Oh, I've used these. Particle cannons are basically these look, if I'm correct, which I think I am, these little turrets that you can jump onto, and it will begin a channel bar, and it will fire around 6 or 7 cannon shots in the direction they get aiming in. You can't choose when these go off. It's timed, but it will just basically fire off wherever you're facing and cause a lot of damage, I'm assuming.
Essentially, it's like what you get on in Colicoid war games.
Okay.
He
Okay.
has not been to Colicoid as far as I'm aware.
No, I've seen Colicoid.
Okay.
I've heard Colloquide.
They're
I haven't
because
heard anything
the
past that.
reason I mention them is because according to the patch notes, they're going to fire more reliably.
As in
So I
not
think-
kill people standing behind them.
Very likely.
The problem is people haven't been using them because there's no need to at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. People
I
don't go to
honestly
those
can't
points.
say I've seen a single instance of someone attacking the other person's base.
But
They
one
go
thing is,
flip the
because
cards
there
or
was
flip
nothing else
computers.
to capture.
I'm really
that's
going
it.
to have to criticise this whole Valor thing because Valor is all good and, yay, more stuff. But once you hit 60 Valor, what is the point? You don't need
That's
it anymore.
exactly what I'm getting at, Blaine. They're giving us rewards that we don't need. People are doing the PvP and whatnot. They want to see a token reward for a tangible piece of loot.
Give us mercenary commendations. Just give us
There you
maybe
go.
one merc for a kill, or maybe
I'd be happy with a standard commendation per kill, something, or
Mhm.
one commendation per Valor rank. Do something with it to motivate people to kill each other.
Something like you get like Ilum tokens, and then you trade in like
Ilum
10
daily
Ilum
tokens would no. Okay, I was gonna say that would be awesome, but people would just start exploiting the hell out of that, where you'd have someone standing at a res point.
No.
killing
You
back
get
and
you
forth.
get you get Ilum tokens for each kill.
Yeah, not a quest, but actually killing them gives you one in your bag, like
And,
that.
and
So,
or
what were we saying about not fury crafting?
Well,
fair
we
enough.
can still make comments and suggestions.
Damn it, Alu!
On
All right,
what we think
Playing
we'll
like
see.
Patch.
So the other big PvP change that's coming in isn't Ilum. It is the level 50 Warzone bracket.
Which
I
is
love and hate
needed,
this.
and unfortunately, I'm not looking forward to it unless they do it the way that I hope they do it. Because right now, the way is level 50s can get gear that stomp anybody that doesn't have expertise, and you can only get the expertise gear. Expertise is the PvP stat if you haven't been PvPing, and you can only get that gear at level 50, which means anybody with PvP gear has a massive advantage over anybody that's not level 50.
And those who
Now-
have been PvPing longer,
Like,
when you fresh 50, if you haven't PvP'd your way up, if you just ding 50 and say, "I'd like to try PvP,"
then you see
you going to jump as a guppy into the pool of sharks, because everyone in there is going to be decked in PvP gear almost guaranteed. At the
Yeah.
same rate, it's good because the lobies who aren't 50 aren't going to be fighting us, but that's another bad point because now they can't come with us if they're guildies or friends that we want to have PvP with
and
us.
that's what I'm hoping they do. I hope that this only applies to people who are solo queuing, and queuing you get put into the groups. I hope that if you physically group up with people before you queue for PvP, you can still bring your guildies who aren't level 50 in there, because they know that they're coming with 50s and they will get into fights with 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Alu, try not to say names of other players, please. Because...
Like him.
Why not? Why not?
Well, for one,
I
because he
mean,
doesn't
you know-
deserve recognition for jumping around in a circle, pushing one,
Yeah, I
acting
mean,
like a
no.
fucking asshat.
Unskilled players who got lucky with bags and got their gear, which is another thing I want to come on to in a bit. The way that you get PvP gear in this game is ridiculous. It's the worst I've seen in any MMO.
Okay,
in my
wait,
life.
stop, pause, hold. Okay, we're jumping way off the tracks here. Let's continue on with patch notes,
Yep.
and we'll get to the other shit a little bit later
We'll get to
on.
the other stuff in a minute. The thing that a lot of response has been said is they would rather it be done by Valorant, but that's another conversation to be had. There are not many more, I want to say, PvP specific patch notes, so I want to switch over to something that's kind of related to PvP in items, and that they're finally going to be showing us set bonuses when we look at stuff on a vendor.
It's
Yeah,
about
I've seen-
damn time.
I've seen plenty of people that actually that purchased something and then found out that it was not for their specific advanced class, for instance.
Oh, and BTW BioWare, please let us preview weapons.
Oh,
Yes.
wait. Backtrack 1 second here. There was one other thing I wanted to mention about PvP.
Oh, really?
We are finally getting high-end relics that supposedly will actually have stats on them from the PvP vendors.
PvP specific stats. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry.
I'm tired of all the high-end relics having no stats except for the Datacron one.
Yeah. Sorry, I completely forgot about that, Alec. Well remembered. But yes, the set bonus, I think it's very, very needed, because it can just be a pain in the butt sometimes. Admittedly,
For certain classes, like, say, Warriors, it's really obvious that Juggernaut gear is Juggernaut gear because it comes with defense. But for other classes, like
And it's
Bounty
heavy.
Hunters, who have
Fine.
all heavy gear no matter what, it can be really confusing if you don't know if, you're supposed to have the power or the alacrity. So having the set bonuses that say, this heal gets a bonus if you have 2 pieces, well, that's obviously, a healing Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
So it's well needed.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, they are called
for a
combat
sniper, a sniper has got 3 different pieces that are all light. You can get Enforcer's headgear, you can get a Field Medic's headgear, or Field Tech. Now, I don't know if Field Tech or Enforcer is for me, for the sniper, because they're the
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can get Field Medics for healers, but Field Tech's gear could be for me, or Field Enforcer could be for me. So, what do I go for?
I'm going to look like a dork here and say I didn't even know that the piece of gear I bought was a set piece until I bought it and saw a set bonus show up while it was in my inventory.
Yeah.
So I got lucky that I picked the correct one just because I was trying to gear for pure willpower for DPS roles, but...
And it also helps you keep within the same set, rather than going, I'm going to have this headpiece and that shoulder piece, that chest piece, and then find out that they're one part of 2 separate sets.
I mean,
which-
And that they're
Agreed.
completely incompatible.
And the set bonuses, in some cases, can be very drastic. I mean, it can be just
Yeah.
ability that you don't have. I mean, Miri, which piece did you go for? Enforcer or Field Tech?
I went for the Enforcer first because Field Tech sounded something more special, like the stealth part of the operative. That would seem more techy than Enforcer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that's more than 5 words, right?
Do you know what do you know what the set bonus was for Enforcer and / or Field Tech?
Well, I didn't know before, but now the Enforcer got bonus to its stealth and dodge, and while the Field Tech got a bonus to its big AoE thing called Orbital Strike, which is the best move in the game, as I'm concerned.
No, it's not.
So basically, the Enforcer is for the operative.
Yeah, it's for the stealthy operative.
Well then, and that's one big problem, because I got the Enforcer one not knowing what it would give me. Because that's the first PvP gear I got on my bags that gave a set bonus. And I have to change all that.
Yep. It didn't matter as much since the first 2 PvP pieces I got were boots, so I just bought one and then saw I was wrong about the other.
Yeah, it just... And I think that the way that they've maybe put together some of the armor sets is they don't necessarily flow too well visually either, so you can't tell that way. I know that doesn't mean a whole lot, but like usually if you were looking at, I hate to use the example of WoW tier gear in Wrath, but you could at least tell all the healer gear was black and yellow, whereas here you can have a red chest piece and a black head piece and a grey pants and purple boots and look like Densin's trooper.
I knew you were gonna put that. Oh, come on.
Rainbow
I can't help it,
That's
okay?
why I'll put
I'm a
trash
fabulous trooper.
Alright, so moving on a little bit, because we could be sort of here for a while. They're doing a bit of an overhaul on the guild system as well, insofar as A, sorting the guild will now actually work, and B, adding someone to the guild will no longer make the guild list crash.
Oh, finally.
In a guild the size of our guild is needed.
Yeah, how many people do we have now? About 480?
487, I think.
We've been at 500, but then we got rid of the crazies.
Yeah, you may thank me later.
Actually, we didn't get rid of the crazies.
I think we were
Blame's
thanking
still
you
in
while
the
you were
guild.
doing it.
You and me.
Other than that, we're going to look into 2 more things further on, because they're a bit of a poke and a push towards what I want to talk about in the
Troll.
the more theory and rage. Give in to your hatred. We're going to go over some of the Flashpoint and Operation fixes. Who's glad that they're fixing some of that, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Some of it,
do
but
any of
not all of
that,
it.
so-
Some of it, but the majority
Nowhere
of things
near
that
all of
make
it.
it incompletable are the things they're not fixing.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about at least some of this stuff is a step in the right direction, right?
True. I mean, but also
I'll
they've
give
got
'em
some
that.
huge issues. I mean, if they've got till the 17th to, they've announced the patch is released on the 17th, yeah. So
Yep.
that means they're gonna either fix these bosses, or that's gonna leave free heroic instances bugged.
Yeah, but let's
And several
talk about
non-heroics.
each of those heroics and stuff when we come up to them, because otherwise we're going to be running around in circles. That's the word I'm looking for. Alright, so Kadamimu. General Ortol's rocket fire will no longer occur when the rocket is not active. Did anyone actually experience
I honestly
that?
couldn't say because I don't remember Kadamimu that well. I only did it the once, and it was no problem.
That was when he was just like, fire! And there was like 4 rockets above you. It's like,
Oh, that flashpoint!
Ah,
Oh my god!
okay, yeah, we did have one
tanking
wipe.
that was so awful.
I remember that now. We did have one wipe, and that was because we didn't know the mechanic and stood under a rocket and died horribly.
We had 2 wipes because
Okay.
one time actually it didn't show up, and I think like all 4
Yeah.
damage.
Okay.
I think that's the bug where it doesn't show up, but you still get damaged.
Yeah, that's awful.
Alright.
So that's a good fix.
There are some basic general operations and flashpoint changes, such as they're adding a new flashpoint, which will be interesting.
It does
They
have a hard
are-
mode for those interested.
Yes. So hopefully it'll be another more story sort of bloody blur.
Well, they said it
Um,
was.
The difficulty of some non-boss enemies in flashpoints has been adjusted. I have no idea what that means.
I
don't know.
hope it means we don't face roll Black Talon heroic anymore.
Okay.
And I
I
But
hope
you
it means
do-
things
but
like
you
Black
still
Talon
want
Heroic
to
stop
make
shooting
it-
clothies for like 4K.
Alright, so, but at the same time, you guys are face rolling it because you've got gear now. You don't want to
Yeah.
make it completely inaccessible for people that don't.
Yeah, but I mean, we shouldn't have a healer going into melee with gold mobs.
That's true.
Well,
Speaking
that's
of-
just Zera for you, so.
That's just Zera being Zera. Enemies now drop credits more frequently in flashpoints.
So we can get rich.
Ching ching.
I honestly don't see how this is necessary. I mean, Cash has had bigger, repair bills than I have. I imagine Alu probably has too, since both of them are tanks. But the more I run instances with them, I just keep seeing credits going up. I haven't done anything. I haven't even been running my dailies. All I've been doing is PvP and flashpoints, and my credits just keep going up. So I'm not sure this is
And
necessary. Well,
Yeah, that's where your credits go down.
Slightly.
Well, actually, when we raided, we only wiped on the last boss, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
I'd
had
say
like 4 or 5
tomorrow
times.
night.
We'll get back to the operations in a minute. Let's focus
Can
on
I
the
finish my
flashpoints here,
sentence?
fellas.
Please. No.
No. Okay.
Wait, am I allowed?
I said okay.
He was trolling you.
Then there was that large gap of silence where I was waiting for you to speak.
Yeah. Damn it,
Look, you made him forget what he was
no,
saying.
that's- fucking hell.
You broke
Gosh
our
darn it.
German. I hope you're proud of yourself.
2 World Wars and 1 World Cup.
Wow.
Wow.
What the hell did you just say?
Don't repeat that.
I think
Don't.
it was something soccer related.
I thought he said 2 teams, 1 World Cup.
Well, that said, that said, did you see how Germany crushed us?
It's
Yes.
true. It's true.
But that ref was a total dick. Just saying.
Yeah.
Guys, back to
whoa,
Star
whoa.
Wars.
He was not a
Um,
dick. That was the revenge for something else that happened earlier in
Soccer has
Guys,
nothing to do with
get
Star
back
Origin
to
time.
Star
Football,
Wars.
not soccer.
I'm
Or what?
The only
It
Wolfie?
is
reason I'm
soccer.
here-
I'm American. Screw you.
Or what, Wolfie?
I'm a German. Your argument is invalid.
Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of angry people watching this and be like, "Oh, but
I
this
don't
happened,
care.
Or,
this happened."
Soccer.
or it could just all get edited out.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just kinda like go on.
Robots.
Yeah, but that's
So-
gonna
Well,
give
now I'm gonna have
some
to.
of the
The Black Talon. Some enemies in this flashpoint are no longer invisible.
Yeah,
Unless it meant
I
invisible and don't attack you. Didn't see it.
think STF. You
Never
and
seen
egg.
that.
I think this has something to do with the heroic mode, where if you go the dark side choice and
Oh, yeah.
at the robot
They
boss,
just don't. They
left
don't
and
go
right
there.
doors open, blaster bolts fire, but there are no enemies. I think they fixed that they actually spawn. You have to fight them before you fight boss.
Okay. The Foundry. Corrected an issue that could cause the final boss to become stuck at 10% health. And that is all we will call him, the final boss.
Well, that's one
Okay,
of 2
this
issues.
involved.
On
If
heroic
I'm
mode,
not mistaken, Blaine, which you could probably tell me, if you interrupted him during a channel where you would drop him below 10%, that's when it bugged?
yeah, and if you damage him or interrupt him, it just bugs and he gets the perma shield and can't be defeated.
I think this is normal mode, to be honest,
Yeah.
because we'll talk about the hard mode Foundry, the final boss, but I think that particular bug fix goes for normal mode only.
Yeah, that's just normal.
Yeah.
Because, currently, the hard mode bug is that the final boss will start to channel a damaging ability on someone, and even if you interrupt it, the exact second it appears, it will one-shot whoever it hits, just like that.
By channel on them, we mean it looks at you and you die because it hits for 70,000.
Yeah, 70,000. You can't interrupt it or anything because you can't do it fast enough. I did it the exact second it appeared, and it just crit for 70,000, and it just killed everybody in one shot. So that's bugged.
Okay.
Actually, with that said, is there anything on the boarding party in the patch notes?
No, there is not.
No.
Well,
Not
the
seeing
last boss of boarding party
Let's-
also bugged.
Let's just keep rolling with the actual patch notes. Because we're going to go, well, this needs fixed, and then that needs fixed, and Waldorf and Statler. Because we could wander off into all sorts of unknown territory. Battle for Ilum. The pirates have had their toughness reduced in hard mode.
I think it was the boss with the who spawns 4 invisible ads.
Yeah.
Who just
it's
one
the
shot a
first
tank
boss.
and then does nothing anymore, and the damage dealers just have to kill the boss. That's a mechanic at the moment. Let tank die, let damage dealer kill the boss.
Okay.
So yeah.
there are a bunch of things in the False Emperor. A certain boss will no longer initiate his whirlwind attack after leaping to a player.
Good, because that guy was a lunatic.
Yeah? Okay. They corrected an issue which will make another boss target a player with his blaster attack. He now focuses on... They basically gave him an aggro table.
Finally, because that was annoying as well.
Well, I think that actually was a random target ability.
It was, but they've now given that...
they effectively made him tankable.
Because when trying to do the mechanic for that fight, and he would just randomly hit you, it would stop it all and you would just drop if you didn't get it in time.
What else? The entity's affliction ability will now deal damage properly in hard mode.
Yeah, because I think normal mode she dealt no damage at all. I can't remember taking hits from it. We could need Seraph in here who can actually tell if someone got hurt in it.
Okay. Another boss has had the correct amount of health in normal mode.
We killed him with his too much health.
Yeah,
I'm
I kind of made a note
boss,
that it
another
had
boss,
double the health it
because
should have had.
Even though we have spoiler warnings at the beginning,
This is one of the...
I'm actually not trying to read some of these names.
Yeah, because it's probably the most hardest spoiler fanboy thingy. I remember Anla screaming as he first encountered this boss.
Yes, and then what happened afterwards and the ensuing shenanigans. Red Reaper now updates correctly for the entire group, which is good. Directive 7, this is one that will touch Valek's heart. Bulwark will do less damage, because he was doing more than intended in normal mode.
I have to point out, we killed him just fine.
Okay.
We just had to figure out his mechanic.
They corrected an issue that caused the Interrogator to spawn more cyborgs.
To put that in perspective, he spawned, at like the end of the fight, he spawned maybe 40 of me.
Okay.
Oh,
40.
Okay. Didn't happen to us.
I just seen
not at all.
the thing about spawning cyborgs is just the wrong word. It should be constructing cyborgs, surely. Because, never mind.
Nerd.
Correcting an issue that allowed Replicator to become susceptible to crowd control in hard mode, making the encounter easier than intended. So they actually buffed that in hard mode.
Yeah, that's just obviously a fix. He has boss immunity, and for some reason or other he'd lose it, so...
Yep.
How's your tea, mate?
It's coffee.
Oh.
I'm allergic to tea.
How can you be allergic? Never mind.
Let's not get into that.
Never mind.
So let's move on to operations.
One second. The more important question is, how can an English person be allergic to tea?
Oh, fuck off. Stereotypes.
I told you we weren't going to get into that.
How can a German be allergic to sausages?
I don't know, I'm not allergic
He's
to
not.
sausages.
He loves the sausage.
No, I hate sausages, but I'm not allergic to them.
He loves the sausage.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody.
Back to topic.
Let's move on to operations, shall we, gentlemen? And I'm not talking about operations on sausages, Valek.
Are you talking about the Milton Bradley game?
That would be epic. Imagine if they put a version of that in...
Yeah, I think I'm talking about the actual operations in this game.
Eternity Void, cough.
Right, okay.
Okay, so I just want to point out, for all those listening, other than Denson and Wolfie, the other guys in here have been raiding recently. Oh, sorry, operating.
Great.
I don't know, man. I kind of like being called an operative more than a raider. But that's just me. But that gets you confused with one of the advanced classes, so I'll shut up. And you guys downed how many bosses in Eternity Vault?
Everyone except the last one.
We got the
last one.
We got the last boss to 15% on our first try.
So what you're telling me is that with about a week of heroic gear from like Black Talon and a couple of other primary bosses, you are 4 out of 5 rating.
No, but listen, we got enough.
Hold on, no. I'm getting to a point. But yet you are having problems in certain heroics.
Well, not that much
Because
problem
they are
as bugs.
bugged.
Every single
Not because they're
error we've gone
hard.
into, we have
I'm not-
cleared every
I'm not-
single one.
I'm not saying that it's because they're hard.
Yeah, this
I'm
isn't
just
like an
saying
E
there
being
are-
statement.
I am moving towards a statement here. And this is something that you were trying to talk about earlier, and since we've just finished Flashpoint, it's something that I want to bring up. There are... You guys are having problems with these heroics because they are bugged as hell, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And not a single one of those is addressed in these patch notes, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, several of the heroics are addressed, but the bugs that prevent them from being completable are completely absent.
Mhm.
Right. So, how do you, as those people, feel when you hear about them adding 4 extra bosses to Kragger's Palace?
Oh, actually,
Well, pretty
I'm
irritated.
Hold on. How do you feel as raiders and people who are having problems with those heroics when you hear them adding 4 new bosses to a raid, but yet they can't fix the chest bug in Black Talon Heroic?
Well, actually, it's they're
Do you
bringing in
think
new
that is
content.
a worthwhile use of their time?
No, because
I
they're
approve
bringing
of
in
them
new
bringing in
content,
new content,
but they're
like
bringing
Blaine's saying.
which is good, but they haven't fixed the ones they've already got.
And
So,
that's the problem.
yeah.
See, we are running these with mostly PvP gear because we can't get the gear out of the hard modes because the damn bosses are bugged or they can't be completed. Like Directive 7's last boss will bug out and you can't hurt it. You wipe on a boss due to, even if your healer loses connection or some crap like that, if you wipe on a boss that happens to be a chest boss, odds are no loot for you. So
And
how are people supposed to gear through this?
And not to mention the fact that in the Eternity Vault, we cleared 2 bosses, no wipes. I mean, we didn't wipe at all until the last boss 15%, which was our first try. Yeah, and 2 of the chests bugged out. We couldn't get any loot, and we did them flawlessly, no deaths, nothing. And we got
2 tier 2 pieces and
Now
1
let
recipe,
me-
and I didn't got them.
I'm going to quote one of my favourite books and favourite movies, I'm going to beat the grass to startle the snakes. I do believe you guys, the first time you did Black Talon Heroic, and you had the chest bug, put in a ticket to BioWare.
correct.
It does
their response?
nothing.
Please don't remember me. Don't remember.
What was their response?
Automated method. They said thank you for telling us this. Read patch
Read
notes for
patch
information.
notes.
And there's nothing.
Here's
in
the patch notes.
Okay.
Wait,
No
not fix
fix,
anything.
BioWare. You did it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. Okay, that's. I just wanted to be absolutely clear about that front. Because I wanted to give some context for the people listening as to where we are standing in the content, basically.
But, couldn't it be that they're not including it in the patch notes because they're going to be hotfixes? I mean, we have had
Well, they
several
didn't
They
fix
could
hotfixes.
hot
They
fix
didn't
it. Why
fix
the hell
one of
didn't they do it already?
chest bugs.
Exactly. I mean, I have seen less chest bugs than we've had in before, but they're still there.
Yeah.
Specifically, what pissed me off was we did this raid, we did this flawlessly, and I have to give mad props to everyone who was there. We had an amazing group. We had no problems except for, well, I
Yes,
might have been
boss.
stupid and stood in lava a little too long, but still. That's not the point. We knocked out the raid to the last boss, no issues. But on the way, people who needed gear more than others, the gear was auto-assigned to people in the group. Okay, maybe we had it on the wrong setting. Other gear you couldn't even take out of the chest. Even though it was assigned to someone, they couldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why
Okay,
we got
so-
the 2 tier 2 pieces.
Let's go on to the operation changes. Eternity Vault. You are now successfully able to loot the chest after defeating the Infernal Council. Yeah.
That's the one that we couldn't get the stuff out of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about time.
So there's a
Some
fix
extra
for that,
chest bug
thank
fixes.
God.
By the
Okay.
way, about Internal Council, one of the most interesting and unique fights ever. Never
Yeah.
had anything like that before in any game.
It's
It was
too
great.
easy though.
Yeah,
It's
it
too
was-
easy, but it's fun.
It was great, yeah.
It's
Alright.
essentially an individual gear check. Just the way it's done is phenomenal, and
Yeah.
I can't wait to do it again. But they do need to up its difficulty. Either that or
They
we
do
have
not need to up its
over-geared that
difficulty.
specific fight.
Yeah, I have, at least from my tank perspective, the tank gear check, because the guy hits me for 46 HP. 46, and I have 19k HP. I don't need to attack this guy for about 5 minutes.
I've got
Yeah.
to say, in hard mode, it has to be a lot harder because
I hope.
even as a Clothy fighting one of the DPS Marauders, that
Now,
did nothing.
Is
It
that the
hit
first?
like a tissue.
Is that the first encounter in the
No.
instance?
4.
No,
Alex,
it's the
Alex plays.
fourth.
So basically,
Oh no, because I was going to go on to say something much like one of my favorite encounters in an MMO ever was chess event in Kara,
I love chess.
and it
events.
was just
No
a
one does it,
great
though.
bit of fun
Death with
in
Foul.
the middle.
yeah, that's the thing. This encounter is fun. That's what it is. I haven't had this much fun
Okay,
because
cool.
basically you get split into your own. You're split from
That's
your
fine.
team.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want to spoil too much of that.
If I could, one moment of speculation here. Considering it is a one-on event, how is it going to be handled in a 16-man?
I
This
think it
one
can be
was
bigger.
16.
It can be 16 of them.
The
I don't
room
know.
wasn't that big.
No, I'm
Maybe
probably
it's
make them
getting
bigger.
bigger. Or you have to do 2 people at one.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I was just wondering about that, what people thought
All right,
about that real quick there,
so
Anla.
the perimeter defense cannons have been retuned to improve targeting behaviors. Is that?
Eh.
Okay,
It's an
so
aggro thing, because if you aggro one, they'll just fix one.
Okay, one of the boss's mind trap and force throw abilities no longer target the same player multiple times.
Good, because you can get
This-
healers locked down for the entire fight.
Okay.
Yes, or bad because you could off tanks like me get locked down, which was like no problem at all.
But
Okay.
this isn't the specific issue in the fight
Yeah.
that needs to be dealt with. The specific issue is the frequency of which they spawn, not the people that they trap. It's how often they spawn.
And it's not the
I kind
throw,
of an
it's
idea what
just
we
the
can
trap.
do
Well-
different.
Well,
Just on the name of
explain the problem.
the same boss, ball lightning enemies summoned by it will deal damage in a smaller radius.
That's
That's
good, yeah.
good.
Because that was a little
Okay.
bit, it was just
Honestly,
a few
I'm not
inches too
worried about
much.
that.
Now,
Yeah,
is
I'm
that
not
worried about
tuned
that
for those
because
two
that
fixes
was
to work
avoidable.
together?
If we paid attention.
Yeah, well, I'll explain it. Basically, he's some of these mind traps which will take one player, put them in their own phase, and all the DPS have to DPS down the mind trap to get that player out of it.
Okay.
And forceless is where one person will be picked up by the force from the boss and is flung around the room, smacked into walls, and then dropped onto the ground.
And gets about 4 to 5k damage. I
And
think.
can't do anything
Okay.
at all.
Unless you're
And-
me, then it didn't hurt at all.
And so basically, what we've got is on the last encounter, the last phase, sorry, it's basically where the mind traps are spawning so fast that everyone's getting taken. It is literally spawning 2 at once,
Okay.
and it shouldn't
Okay. All right. So you now have
Wait a second. On this note, I want to point out something else. Specifically, if your group is melee DPS heavy,
Then
you
you're
will really
screwed.
be screwed by this mechanic because you have to run all the way across the room potentially to get to the
Yeah.
mine trap.
be. And it is big. It is huge. We had no melee. We just didn't.
And what's also pretty bad is at the last boss, at the last phase, I can jump with my force charge to the mine traps, but not to the boss, which screws me over big times.
All right, so let's wrap this up before the last 2 talking points with Kragger's Palace. Now, this is what people came out from the first time calling it a complete troll encounter with Bone Crusher.
Yeah.
Bone
I'm
Thrasher.
pleased to report that Bone Thrasher no longer attacks players immediately after they fall into his pit.
Good. 'Cause that was a
Yay.
big issue as well. But it doesn't fix the actual encounter.
Okay. Reduce the damage of Bone Thrasher's overhead smash attack and reduce the distance players are knocked back by backhand in hard mode. And it gives you players more room to avoid being knocked into the pit.
Well, I mean, I think that it's good they're doing that because you can be sometimes knocked from one side of the room to the other and just fall in the acid because you've got a tiny little
the
platform.
problem-
Okay.
The problem with that is that it said in hard mode. They're not
Mhm.
doing that change in normal mode, which we are still on right now.
Yeah.
So
But-
we're still gonna have the problems in normal mode.
But the thing is that we haven't even had a chance to attempt it when we try to because our healer would just die instantly, just drop
Yeah.
because it was
Okay.
attack before we even load in.
And the final obvious one is they are adding 4 new bosses. Now, for those of us that haven't been in there, are we looking at the Wintergrasp or Tol Barad?
No,
We're looking
sound
at
like it.
Trials of
Simple
the
no.
Crusade.
it is its own
Oh.
raid. It is that. Then it's nothing to do like that. nothing to
So
do
it's
with
more
it.
like Trial of the Crusader, where they just keep trolling in these.
No, As far as I know,
Wait.
it'll be in different areas. I'm not sure if it just keeps you in that
Huh?
pit though. I'm not 100% sure.
I have no idea because it would kind of make sense because it's in the Hut Palace and in the Beast Pits of said Hut Palace.
Okay.
Well,
I
if you've
hope they
seen the
don't do it,
preview,
but it's the
There's-
thing that would make most sense, in my opinion.
All right.
there's a bit of a preview of it on the website that
Yeah.
it's not all that pit.
Oh,
Awesome.
good.
Okay, cool. Sweet. So now we get to the two patch notes that I want you guys to kind of let go on. One of which is a personal peeve of my own. One of which is pretty much everyone's taken a look at it and gone, herp derp, McHerp.
We will try in the next couple minutes to keep our language as clean as we can, but if you
No
don't want to hear
promises.
language,
I
this is
promise
probably a good
nothing.
point to turn it off.
And just so everyone knows,
I will point out right here that there is a mature language warning both at the beginning of this video, beginning of this podcast, and down in the description.
and
And
just want
at
to point
this
out,
point
this
too.
isn't us crying about it because we have got two Sith warriors who agree with us that this is bullshit.
We are going to start with biochem.
Okay.
The reason why we're going to start with that one is the other one is more rage-worthy. This one is more of a discussion. I have a huge issue with the fact they are making biochem into... Well, it's not that they're making biochem into... It has occurred that biochem is the end game crew skill to have. There is...
And I pick it up right at the beginning. Yay.
Alright. Alu
What
with
the
his
hell,
hipster
Alu?
glasses over there. It is at the point now where of the 8 people who were in the operation the other night, I could swear 6 of them have biochem at this point,
4.
right?
Oh wait, 5. 5.
5 out of 8 people.
And
Yeah.
one highly considering a change from a triple 400 other skill set.
And,
And
I've changed
when
as
we
well.
started rating, only 2 of us had it to begin with.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
We all
since then, we are up to 5 or 6, and another one taking it up. The reason this is, Alu, can you please, as our too cool for school hipster
Stim
glass
junkie.
stim junkie, explain to us why it's so advantageous to have.
Because of the Rakata, Medpack, Stims, and Adrenals. I start with Medpack because that is pretty much the most OP shit ever. It's a Medpack that never runs empty. You has a cooldown of 90 seconds, heals for 5k instantly, or 5 to 6k instantly, and dots for 2000 afterwards in 15 seconds. So you have 15 seconds, I think, 200 dots for every second of healing, which is, I think Elandra said, even better than one of his crit heals.
Yeah, that pack is just it blows my heels out of the water.
I can use it every 9 seconds. It's the ultimate tanking item for me. That's why I picked it up biochem right at the beginning. Then we have the Adrenals, which give you for 50 seconds a huge stats bonus. For me, it's 1,750 armor, I think, for 15 seconds, which makes me 50% over 50%. Meanwhile, I think I have a 60%
Alu.
damage reduction when they hit me with
Clarify
that
for
thing.
me. Can you use the adrenals at the same time you're using one of the relics clickable effects?
Yes.
There you go. Another reason to use them.
Yeah. So, but the Adrenal
Alright.
has a 3-minute cooldown. I
So
think.
basically what you're saying is there is nothing like you used to have with the trade skills in WoW, where engineering, for example, would have a great haste buff, so it would be good for classes that used haste.
Yeah.
Or
But
what you're saying is there is nothing in biochem.
there's
there
everything
is
in
no-
biochem you can use for everyone.
No, there is everything in biochem, is I think what you're trying to say.
Yeah, pretty
Everything in biochem
Well,
can
one
use
thing,
by everyone.
there is weaker ones you can trade, but they're not as good.
Yeah.
But that's
Nowhere
not
near.
the point. The point here is, if you look at something like Armor Mech or Cybertech, their end game stuff, their level 400 stuff, is stuff that can be easily traded between characters, right?
Yeah. This Ricardo stuff
you
is
can
not
come to
tradable.
me and say, hey, I want you to craft me this piece of gear. And I can go, sure, craft, here you go. You still have the benefit of my level 400 gear, but you still have your stims.
Yeah.
For example, artificing, the level 400 Ricadas from that are relics that aren't particularly that amazing compared to what you can get through PvP, especially if they're adding new high-end ones with stats as of 1.1,
with
or even high-end
stats.
PvE. Or even high-end PvE, you've still got a very similar clickable. I think it's a 60 different rating between the high-end PvE and self-crafted
I kind of want to go to the stim now, which is a 2-hour stim that doesn't also run out. All the Ricardo stuff never goes empty. The stim has a duration of 2 hours. It's I can use it as often as I want. It has no cooldown. It's I keep the buff even when I die, and it increases my endurance by 156 or something like this, and gives me 56 defense bonus, and which that alone gives me like 1.5k extra health HP. And yeah, the same things goes for cunning, crit, and stuff.
So
I could make it, but I can't use it. So yeah.
So you can have an adrenal and a stim running at exactly the same time.
Yes. Adrenal, stim, and map.
And there is one for every class. So say that there's one for people who use cunning, and the damage dealers will get, like snipers like me, will get cunning and power.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it works all the classes.
So this is what I have an issue with. They've tried to do a little bit in 1.1, and this is the reason why I saved this patch note for last. About biochem. But that being said, it's nothing. It's basically saying that the high-end stuff require 400 biochem for use. That's basically what it says. The amount healed by Ricardo med packs has been reduced.
And it doesn't ticks anymore, but it increased my...
But it increases your maximum health.
For a few seconds. I think it's the same...
Which is effectively the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like my Endure Pain ability, which increases my health for 30 seconds, by 30% for 15 seconds or something like this.
No, I just want to bring some up here. Now, at the moment, these amazing stims, and these med pack and such, cannot be traded. They're only for biochem.
Nope. Only for biochem.
So, I had an idea here that could bring it all into balance. Make these stims and med packs and such, whatever, make them tradable. They're not unlimited, but they're tradable, and they last for 3 hours when you use it. And also to bring it, into comparison, they have to make sure that crafting has got better slots. If they don't, it won't make any sense, because you'll have these amazing things from biochem which are needed, but the other crafting systems will just not be necessary, because the top-end raiders won't want these crafted items, because they're not best in slots. So they have to make these stims tradable.
Yeah, I'm not sure they necessarily need to make them tradable. I think they need to do something to... It's just... Right now, there is no disadvantage to taking biochem.
Yeah.
None.
Well, I mean, they're at the point now where they can't nerf it, because if they do, people will be so frustrated and angry.
I would like to, quickly, while we're doing this, read out this little bit on these patch notes that BioWare has written. Below, you'll notice some changes to high-end biochem and cybertech crafted items that reduce their output. We understand that these changes may cause concern for biochemists and cybertechs, but we've made them in order to prevent a situation where any specific crafting skill becomes the objective best choice for players challenging endgame content or PvP. We only make this type of change after very careful consideration, and only to ensure a level and fun playing field for all players. Right? That way,
You're doing it wrong!
A, they haven't touched the stims, and B, they didn't say anything like that when they nerfed slicing.
Exactly.
Because money doesn't make you better at PvP or PvE.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but slicing was just ridiculous.
But
I mean, come on.
And also, let's be honest here. I'm going to talk to Cash for a minute. Cash, what was your cybertech at when you dropped it for biochem?
400 cybertech, fully
Yep.
maxed.
Fully maxed. And you dropped biochem when?
I dropped cybertech.
Sorry.
3 days ago.
Okay. So what you're saying is, even with these nerfs, it's better than cybertech ever was.
The funny thing is, and this is not mentioned in the patch notes, a small portion of it is that I had made grenades, which are really great for what they do, and I had made the grenades and the mounts, the cybertech mounts, and when I dropped cybertech, I am still able to use them. Now what they're doing is they're making the grenades cybertech only, but it doesn't say anything about the mounts. So it seems to me like you can cycle through most of the crew skills, get the best of each crew skill, and keep going through and getting them and still being able to use them. Except now they're sort of catching on and realizing that people are doing that, and they're not catching all of it though, unfortunately.
Okay. So this really doesn't resolve the issue. I mean, especially when I think it was Alu told me that if he manages to get outside combat in a PvP war zone,
then I
and
hit
pops his
myself with
stim,
my med pack and gain 2 medals.
2 medals instantly.
Yeah.
For 1 med pack.
For healing.
For healing.
Yeah.
When there are healers that sometimes don't hit that.
And the best thing is, sometimes when I'm not with Elandra or Zareth in a PvP zone, most of the time I have highest healing. And I'm a tank.
As a tank class. As a tank.
Using med packs.
Med
Make
packs.
sure that registers well,
pack.
people.
Right. Do you guys remember when people were laughing, I'm going to be warrior... I'm going to be warrior spec with band-aids?
Now it's viable.
Now it's for reals.
It's actually viable in PvP
Actually,
right now.
it's
Just
funny
saying.
that you say that, because when the game was first announced, all the classes and crew skills, in my opinion, from what I saw, everybody said that agents and biochem would be the least used, and now I
Guess
see
what?
hundreds of both. I mean,
Only
the other
agents
thing-
and biochem everywhere.
The other thing about biochem, and I can say this because I've leveled it over the last 3 days, is it is the only, to my knowledge, the only crew skill that only requires 1 gathering profession.
Yes.
And that's bioanalysis. You can buy the other needed things at the crew skill vendor. So that just it's just another.
Even the blue stuff?
I will. If you are leveling purely off greens, then I leveled armor mech mostly off of scavenging, and I only ever used my underworld trading for
Yeah, but
blue.
the thing is, to make the Rakata stuff, you need no med supplies. You only need
Really?
bioanalysis stuff. Yes,
Nothing.
I checked it today.
It's the same with artificing, dude. Unless you want to make the blues as you're leveling, when you get to the end, you don't need the secondary profession for it at all.
Yeah.
The only thing you need is the crafting material that you can only get from hard mode end bosses. That's it.
Okay.
You don't need a secondary profession's crafting material.
Okay. Alright. Alright, so I just kind of want to sum up this biochem to give us a chance to let go on the other thing that has been boiling under for the whole podcast, because this is going to be when I sit back and just go, dance my puppets. I think they need to look seriously at crew skill balance.
Right now, I think biochem is probably at the point where the others should be. You should be getting at least that much benefit. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, depending on how much base utility the trade skill offers, and balance it around biochem. Because that should be the benchmark.
I mean, I've also got a second idea about how this can come into balance. So you see how biochem have these crew skill specific stims that only biochems can use. Well, say an arms tech, yeah? Give someone who's playing an arms tech a special weapon mod that they can like apply to their weapon, which will make their weapon more powerful.
Like
See,
the
the thing with that is there are no. I mean, yes, I have to have like X amount of something to use.
Can I say something?
It's just. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, a small idea I had. Cash, the grenades you can make with cybertech. What stats do they have?
Basically, there were two that I focused on. One of them did about 1,500 to 2,000 splash damage with a secondary effect of slowing everybody that it hits by 70% for about 6 seconds. The second grenade was one that did, I want to say, 2,000 to 2,500 initial damage, and then another 2,000 damage over the course of 12 seconds.
And that was getting
it's,
nerfed.
But this is the thing, though. I mean,
wait. So as I was thinking of like I took biochem to be good as a tank with more health, more defense rating, and my med pack to heal me in when it's shit going down. So what if like cybertech gets a grenade that is like a usual taunt? Because at the moment we have 2 or 2.5 taunts, which if the DPS goes crazy, it's hard to hold a boss. When both taunts are down, use the grenade. Anla, what I mentioned, but I think it goes down a bit, went on. Like with Armtech, you make a mod, like for example, that gives you life leech for your weapon. That only Armtech can use.
I mean, exactly.
OP.
That is the point, though. I mean, every class should have something. No, every crucial should have something that they can use specifically that will give them extra utility. So Cybertech get bombs, Biochem get these stims. So you all remember in WoW the grindstone, which would make your weapon more powerful.
Yeah.
We'll give one for Arms Tech, which makes their blasters, gives them extra crit on the blasters or something, or increases base weapon damage. Same for Artifice for lightsabers.
No, don't do that.
I mean, it has to be something that'll bring them,
I agree, it has to be something, but don't start making crew skills give crit and this and that, because then people are going to start demanding that they have that one for this class, and that just gets out of control. I like the way that Biochem's done it with the stats. I would feel good about where Artificing is right now if the crafted relics had stats, and my top tier epic achievement that I could make from Artificing wasn't something that was useful for 20 seconds once every 3 minutes or some crap. If it had the stats on it as well to bring it up to a more constant level to be on par with Biochem, I'd be completely happy with that. I wouldn't have the med kit, but hey, so what? I gotta give something up for that awesome little clicky I'm getting on this thing.
Okay, so what it would almost be is what you guys are saying is what each crew skill needs is something that can boost stats.
I believe the way it's set up right now with Biochem, you've got the adrenal, okay? You've got the med kit, and then you've got that big buff that you can put on from the stems. I believe that the adrenal and the med kit should be the primary focal points. The untradeable, you can't have this because this is the benefit I got from going Biochem. My big monster heal and the ability to give myself a second click effect. That should be their benefit.
A third click
now take, like I was saying, Artificing. I make a relic. I equip this relic and lose stats because it has none on it. Now, once every so often, specifically about the only time I ever use it is during a boss fight when we need extra DPS output, I'll fire off my crit and surge bonus on my relic. Now, Alu, our local stem junkie, can use the same relic and do the same click effect while he's tanking, heal himself with a med pack when he gets caught in a bad AoE, and boost the hell out of his stats, and use a slightly worse clicky than the one that's on mine for me getting a total benefit of once every 3 minutes for 20 seconds, I can have 60 more crit and 60 more surge than you. Whereas he has a permanent increase of 100 endurance, 50 defense rating, 10k heal on demand, plus the extra click effect. They're just getting too much of everything, and everyone else is getting meh.
Okay, well, what would you do to balance it out then for each? Okay, pick a crew skill, and what would you do?
The relics that I can make, or the crystals that I can make. Give me a specific one that gives me a huge stat boost for my trade skill. You were talking about arms tech.
Well, I mean,
Give
I was
you a
thinking
barrel
more...
or whatever like that gives you a nice big boost. You don't want to segregate it into, okay, this is crit, because now this trade skill becomes predominantly for X class.
But I would say, for example, that I think it sounds OP as shit, but for the relic, let's make an example. You get your clicky that increases all your stats by 100%.
This is the problem, though. I'm thinking
or just make the big stim tradable.
Well, I was thinking more like give the crew skills items that other crew skills cannot get. So I mean, when we get these special stims, I mean, Cybertech get these special grenades. No one else can get them unless you're Cybertech. Give them items that are crew skill specific. Don't give them...
these items have a cooldown, Blaine. This is the point. These items have a cooldown. They're situational use items. Biochem is the only one that has a current constant effect plus the benefit of 2 situational effects.
Yeah. Anyway, let's leave that for another time because I think that is something we can come back to and do like a whole episode on, if we need to. As is the next point. Please be prepared.
Yeah.
Oh, this is just dumb as hell.
And this is the big one. And I think this is what a lot of us have been kind of wanted to talk about. For Sith Warrior Juggernauts and Jedi Knight Guardians, Force Push now reduces the cooldown, as in finishes the cooldown, of Force Leap, or Force Charge, as it is for Sith Warriors.
I'm gonna be fucking Yoda. And
Okay.
you won't stop me. I will jump around all over the place. And in Hardball, I will dominate
I just want to read what BioWare said in a forum post.
Idiots.
Mobility / anti-kiting in PvP. We agree with the sentiment voiced by the community that some Guardians and Juggernauts, note, some Guardians and Juggernauts,
to bad players,
have to work harder than other classes to stay within effective combat range, putting them at a disadvantage. We intend to address this in an upcoming patch where, as a first step, Force Push will clear the cooldown of Force Leap, granting for a more reliable in-combat pursuit capabilities to the advanced class. Further changes will be made if necessary. So what they are doing is they are taking one of the 2 bullet spongiest classes in the game, the other being the Powertech stroke Vanguard. They are taking that, and they are taking this huge brick wall, this meat slab that has so many hit points that I could be beating on for a week and it still not go down, and making it more maneuverable.
Now, before anyone even gets into the PvP aspects of it and all that kind of stuff, just wait on the Hutball and all that kind of stuff, because I know Alu wants to just do his Yoda thing all over Hutball. My whole thing is, I have seen 2 well-played tanks and asked them personally, and I'm about to again, that don't need this. So, Cash, start with you so we can finish with Alu and he can do his Yoda hops. Do you actually feel, as a Sith Juggernaut, that you need this ability in PvP?
No. I have 2 movement abilities already. I have one that gets me to an enemy, and one that gets me to an ally. I don't need more movement abilities. I'll use it, sure, whatever, but I don't need them. I don't even feel like I want them.
And Alu?
I have to
Go
say,
ahead.
I don't need him, but I love him. Yeah, in Hardball, I have a 60-meter jump. I jump 30 meters to an ally, then 30 meters to an enemy, and I score. Now, with the Force Push thingy, I'm gonna jump to an ally, jump to an enemy, push some idiot away, jump to the next enemy, and be on the other side in like 3 seconds or something.
I'm
gonna be Yoda all over the place.
And here's the other thing: is they're adding in rated operation PvP, right?
More wargames.
Yeah, in PvP. So what's to stop you chaining an Inquisitor pull in there as well?
Nothing
Okay.
because we can do it now.
Whoa.
Oh, just one quick thing, yeah. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the rage tree also get another jump?
I don't know. I don't think
I think they do.
So
Yeah, they do.
what
Yeah,
you're
they
telling
do.
me is that I could have a Juggernaut if everything was 100% perfect. If it worked out this way, I could have a Juggernaut on my own goal line in Hutball. I could jump to a friend, which would put me right about the 1/3 mark on the field. I could then jump to an enemy, which would put me about midfield. I could then force push someone, jump to another enemy. That
And
would
then
put
have
me
a
about
goal
3
line
quarters of the way
another
across.
30
And then have an
seconds.
Inquisitor on my opponent's goal line that just yanks me to score.
Don't forget the fact that rage. Oh no.
Yes.
Rage
It's
doesn't get.
another jump, 10-meter range.
Does it?
Yeah,
Now,
obliterate.
now, think of that. Think of what Anla just said. You have a 1.5 second global cooldown. 1.5 jump, 1.5 jump. You're at 3 seconds now, you've moved 60 meters. 1.5 jump. Now you're at 4.5 seconds, you have moved 90 meters, and as soon as you get in range,
you got to put the
sword can pull you.
GCD in for force push. So you're at 6 seconds for 90 meters.
True, you're right. So you'd be at 6
Sorry.
seconds for 90 meters, but again, you don't even have to worry about a global cooldown for the Sork pull. That's on his end. So in 6 seconds, you travel potentially
All
with the
over
ball,
the
say
place.
you recovered it at the goal line in Hut Ball, 120 meters toward the other side of the field in 6 seconds.
Which is more than that. It's not even that far from the midfield.
Now, let's assume
Yeah,
that
and,
you got stunned before this
second
happened, so
thing,
you have a
and,
nice white bar. How are you stopped?
None. It's impossible to stop me. And if I go not in rage but immortal, which I am, my force push has a cooldown reduction of 15 seconds already.
So how many
My
jumps
fucking
effectively,
God.
Alu, could you pull off in 15 seconds using your push, your jump to ally, and all that?
I could, if I get it right, I could do 6 jumps without a problem.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
In 15 seconds.
This is the problem. And
Yeah,
not,
you need more mobility,
But
alright.
also,
Totally.
the jump stuns the target.
That's only if you go to the immortal tree.
Which you are.
Yes, I am.
Trust me, I had a duel with Alu. Because of his health, if you fight him in the open field with no way to line of sight him, you're not going
I'm
to
gonna
kill
jump to
him
you.
with a softie. He's either going to jump to you and stay in your face the entire time, or if you're kiting him to the point where he can't get in range, he's going to get bored and walk away.
I'm going from a
You're either
lightsaber
going
to
to get
then
in
jump
range to
again.
get jumped on, because you have the same range as his jump, or you're
Yep.
going to stay out of his range at 35 meters until you screw up or he gets bored and turns around and walks away, which makes you come closer to him.
Seriously,
I think the whole thing here is we've also got to highlight it's even if you were to put these abilities on an operative, it would still be bad. But you are
on
putting
anything, it's bad.
Yeah, but you are putting this ability on a lump of meat that you can wail on for hours and still not kill right
I'm
now.
a fucking mountain that flies all over the place, knocking people's head in and score on hardball, and you won't stop me.
and
I would
not-
honestly say that an operative deserved more movement than a Juggernaut did at this point, because once they blow their opening load, and they're out of stealth, if they get a dot on them or they get engaged, they're done. They will never catch me again.
honestly, I think that this should have been Marauder specific, because Marauders are a little bit, they
God, I hate
drop
them.
fast, but
They scare me.
I mean, Marauders do drop fast because I kill them in seconds, and they do not have many movement abilities, which they do need. Marauders do. Juggernauts don't. Give it to Marauders. Put it in their spec. I don't care. But
Yeah, and that's
don't
another
give it to-
question. From exactly what you read, we agree with the sentiment voiced by the community that some Guardians and Juggernauts, these are your tanks. Why are your tanks chasing people down?
Because I can! I'm Yoda and you won't stop
Shut
me!
up, Alu. You
No.
don't get to comment on this. You
I'm
think
gonna
you're some
jump to
sort
you
of meat
right
blender.
now. Give me
It's
15
not
seconds.
needed.
I'm almost there.
These are not the ones that
Alex.
pursue things. These are
Guys,
the ones that
guys.
carry and push.
Yeah,
Mobility and anti-kiting. All right.
I don't
Here's
need
the
any
thing.
of this,
All right,
but I will love
Here's
it.
the thing. kiting. They're looking at it from the perspective of Alderaan and Void, right?
Well,
Now, kiting isn't a bloody problem in Void anyway, because you sit your tank on the door that you're trying to protect, right? And in Alderaan, you sit your tank on the point, and he gets healed.
Honestly, don't mind.
Right? So the only PvP that they really need to be worried about anti-kiting in is Hutball. And this doesn't prevent anti-kiting; it just makes them score faster.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't even need to be worried about in Hutball, because you can't kite them in Hutball either.
Exactly.
There's too many ways to line of sight them.
Just gonna
The
get
only
my
thing
ball and
this
walk
could
to the
possibly apply to is Ilum and World PvP. That's
you
it.
You are talking about a class that on regularly I hear Alu go, I'm just going to walk through the fire.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk
And I
through
heal
the
through it.
fire, which
And then I'm
while
gonna
is
hit
a-
myself with my med pack and get 2 bonus medals.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm
Okay.
gonna be completely honest here. I'm gonna say it. Anybody who any Sith warrior, any Sith warrior,
Juggernaut.
yeah,
Juggernaut.
any Juggernaut, because Marauders, okay, I understand a bit, but any Juggernaut who is getting kited, you're shit.
It's
You actually shit, because you
fucking
can just turn
retarded.
around, run away, jump at them, and I play Marauder and I can do that. On my
It was the
out.
same deal in WoW with Warriors. Oh my god, I'm being kited to death. As soon as that little rank 1 Frostbolt thing was fixed, if you couldn't figure out how to close your distance to a mage or a warlock and stay on them, you're pretty awful.
I mean,
There's warriors out there really successful. Go look at Swifty's webpage. He'd love to, get more members and all that kind of crap. Go check him out. He rips people apart as a warrior.
I mean, honestly, Juggernauts don't need all this jumping because one, they got plenty of jumps anyway because the cooldown isn't even that long and you can use it in combat. You can
I
just
have
turn around,
15 seconds
run
on
away.
a jump, 20 seconds
All
on
right.
intercede. Bam.
Let me read the second part of this paragraph. 'cause I
Wait,
think
before you go to the second part, Anla.
No, because it's going to play into what's being talked about right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, because we were talking about giving so much mobility to such a mountain of meat that can walk through fire and ignore all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to
So-
comment on.
Alright, so, the second part of the paragraph they released on Sith Warriors and Jedi Knights, DPS spec survivability. Now, this specifically says the DPS specs on Guardian and Juggernaut
A fucking rage
performing,
tree.
are performing to our expectations when it comes to the ability to create damage, especially the burst variety. Okay? However, their survivability is lagging behind our expectations, especially in the later game, and we are going to start addressing that particular issue in an upcoming patch.
So the
Just let
DPS
me-
is
wait. Let
What
me say
the
one
fuck
thing.
are they thinking?
Wait. Let me listen to this. I leveled as Juggernaut DPS till level 30, and I tanked world bosses. I tanked flashpoints. Everything. I had no problem with this. I don't
Okay.
need survivability.
Ali, what
They're
spec
high.
were you specifically?
I were vengeance.
You were. Say that again,
Vengeance.
please.
Vengeance. Vengeance.
Can you say
Okay, I
nuclear
just-
vessels?
Nuclear vessels. I can even say Massachusetts.
Yes.
Cash, have you ever done any PvP specs on your warrior?
I don't need to.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
You got this amazing
Alright.
class that cannot be killed.
Okay, so what they're doing is they're taking a heavily armed class and they're saying that its DPS is good and they are giving it more maneuverability and more survivability. Tell me exactly what they are giving people to make them want to play Marauders other than 2 lightsabers.
Tell me what they're giving people in order to stay alive with the new mobility that they didn't need in the first place fighting this class.
I'm gonna say this shit. Telling you now, Marauder DPS not very good. I'm totally honest with you.
Hey,
You've got
I'm
to
not
work
gonna
like
lie. A Marauder will blow you up if you give him half a chance.
Yeah, he will.
Well,
but it's so
I'm-
easy to get away from.
But think about it, right? They are increasing the survivability on the Juggernaut and Guardian DPS spec.
Well, that's their own fault. They make the choice to take the damage instead of the actual extra survivability when they choose the DPS spec. Which
Why are they
most
trying
point
to-
class?
Why are they trying to tank in a DPS spec anyway?
exactly that shouldn't be
I don't know,
happening.
But-
because we never
Gu-
had a tank, so I just went tank.
Guys, you're missing the fundamental point. they are making DPSing in the tank advanced class more attractive than DPSing in the pure DPS advanced class.
We're not missing the point. We're wondering why the hell, what they're thinking doing this in the first place. If you want a tank, you go Juggernaut and you spec for survivability. That's what a tank is all about. If I was tanking in, I hate to bring up WoW, if I was tanking with my Paladin in World of Warcraft, I didn't fucking spec Retribution.
However, one thing I've got to bring up is that even though they're not increasing the damage or the survivability, and the damage in Juggernaut is piss poor. It won't even compare. The best Juggernaut will not do as much damage as the shittiest Marauder.
I mean,
but now they can survive long enough to stand there and not care and still kill you. That's where the Juggernaut beats you in PvP, is outlasting you.
Yep, just in PvP. I mean, why would you give a class that is meant to do burst damage more survivability? So they can do other damage and take other damage. It doesn't make sense. You either choose to be able to take damage and survive longer, or you choose to be able to kill your enemy before they can kill you.
Why would you
be more OP than bounty hunters?
Why would you give a glass cannon 2 shots?
Exactly.
They didn't give a glass cannon 2 shots. I still only have 1. Get back to the Juggernaut.
They might as well give a frost mage in WoW heavy armor and say, there you go, tank. Give him a shield as well, right? Give him a shield.
All right, I really want to step back here and shut up, and I want to let Cash and Alu kind of talk about it more, since they are the most experienced tanks. They've got to have some better input on this than us.
I don't really know what to say. I mean, PvP, I'm geared almost as well as I could be. I'm close to full tier 2 PvP gear, and it takes 3 people at the very least to be able to do damage to me.
And at least 7 people to kill us.
And I mean, I don't focus on doing damage. I know that I'm better as a ball carrier in Hubball or a ball protector. I know that I'm much better at controlling people in Alderaan, getting them off the points. I mean, I don't focus on doing damage, so as far as I'm concerned, buffing my damage, I don't care. I really don't care.
Yeah, me too. And Alderaan, my point, you don't get it, go away. At Voidstar, my dog, go away, you can't have it. In Hardball, my ball, I'm just gonna walk through fire and score. I don't need damage.
Okay, so we have 2 tanks here. Go on, Cash.
I don't expect to walk in doing the most damage, and I'm still not going to expect to do this after we buff our damage. Yeah. I've got assassins mauling my face, that are topping 200k damage, and I know that I'll never do that. So what's the point of giving us the damage anyways? Because we're not going to get up there anyways.
And they can't kill you when they're doing that damage to you because you live so long.
So we have 2 tanks here who rolled tanks, who are playing tanks, that are causing us to win frequently. It is rare that we have any more than 1 loss in a row in PvP when we go in there with a little pre-made. Even though it's only 4 of us, so we get 4 randoms on the team. It's rare that we lose, because the tanks aren't running around trying to DPS things and jump around like monkeys on crack. They're getting the ball, or they're protecting the ball carrier. They're doing what tanks should do. And now we've got a bunch of little forum jockeys crying because, oh, my tank can't chase people enough.
Yep.
Roll something that's made to chase people down and kill them.
Literally, we're going to get another trooper situation, because the tank spec troopers, they can do, Vanguards do insane damage and never die.
There's not enough time to bring up Vanguards for me to bitch about in here, so let's leave that for another time.
Let me go back to something you were saying earlier, Valak. Do you think this has more to do with open world PvP in Ilum and in the Tatooine area?
I would honestly say yes, because that is the only place where you can really take advantage of this. There are so many places in Alderaan PvP where you can run up a ramp in line of sight, run around a corner, line of sight, and force them to enter your strike range, your jump range, that they don't need to use multiple jumps to get around and all that kind of crap. They don't need more mobility. And they sure as hell don't need more damage when they have 5,000 to 7,000 more health than you do that you've got to burn through.
It's because people are they are tunnel vision. They think there's an enemy, I'm going to kill him, going to kill him, going to kill him. They will follow you for the rest of the match until they kill you. They will just follow you. Because no one thinks, oh, maybe I should just let him go and go kill somebody else and go help my team.
Like, for example, Ilum, for example, me was playing on Ilum, implying he would be Republic or I would be Republic. I would just cap my point. He would stand miles away from me, start snipe me. I would be like, screw you. I'm just gonna force push you away, or don't even go to you. I'm just gonna stand here, go a few fits more ahead, so you can't hit me with your fucking snipe, and I'm gonna destroy this walker over there. Screw you. I don't care if you snipe me. I'm just gonna stand here, pop my invulnerability, and don't give a fuck.
Okay, I want to call back to...
Wait 1 second there, Anla. I gotta interrupt you here for just a second and give a point of reference here where this can be taken out so that I'm not constantly interrupting Anla.
Mm-hmm.
Alu, what you said right there, that brings up another great point about snipers. When they're in cover, you can't jump to them.
Yes.
But if they're sitting at 30 meters and you walk 5 meters away, that sniper is now ineffective. He cannot hurt you. He has to drop cover and come to you.
I'm just gonna walk
If you
him
hit
further
30
away.
meters, again, yeah, you can walk away while he's casting his snipe or whatever.
And if he
But at
tries
the
to
same
get
time,
close to
if
me,
he
I
tries
jump
to-
to him, I push him
Exactly.
away, and then I'm gonna use my new jump to jump back and capture the point.
Exactly. You can jump around like a monkey, or you can just get right in his face because he has to break cover to walk to you, to get in range, to lay down cover, to start shooting again. Cover does not help snipers against melee unless the melee want to run at a covering sniper.
Which is dumb.
Yeah, that's just asking to die. So if you're in that situation, well, go ahead, thin the herd for us. We don't need to kill ourselves.
I do want to call back to something that we discussed earlier, and this is going to be a very brief discussion because I actually think I want this to be the topic of next week's cast, or next cast we record.
Spoilers!
Mainly because I think it's a very interesting thing that we need to theory craft. If this is designed towards an open world PvP scenario, and I can enter my 3 battle war zones, nearly call them battlegrounds, oops, and in the long run end up getting mercenary commendations and all my gear, what's the incentive for me to go to open world PvP where I can just go somewhere and abuse this new ability?
And that is the same thing that was broken with WoW. It started out with open world PvP. There weren't commendations, there weren't ranks, there weren't all this kind of stuff to go with, really, that gave you awesome gear. And then they added battlegrounds that you could farm for rep for gear that you couldn't get unless you did that.
But the difference here is that Ilum stuff that you guys do at 50, and I'm only saying you guys because I'm going to do it when I'm 50, Lord knows, you do get rewards out of it. You get your bags and your dailies and your money and your stuff. Right. Back in the days of open world PvP and WoW, Tarren Mill and South Shore, there was no bags, there was no money.
No.
There was, I hate your guts, I'm going to kill you. And I don't think this has that. I mean, they're even having to. They've even had to put in the patch notes. Well, yeah,
there's one person on our server. If I would see him on Ilum, I don't care about the objectives. I'm gonna kill him. I won't gonna say his name. I did it earlier, and I hope Dance will leave this name out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Because I don't want to call specific people out.
Yeah.
I will call people out that I think are doing a great job. By the way, the amount of times I've thought about re-rolling as an assassin when I've walked into Phage. Phage.
I can't blame you there, dude.
Phage,
melts
I love it when you're on my team, but when I look across a hot ball, I'm just going to leave. What I'm saying is, there is no... They've tried to incentivize World PvP like they did in Wintergrasp, like they did in Tolbarad. But I can take this new warrior ability, this new guardian ability, this new juggernaut ability, into battlegrounds, into war zones, and eventually end up in the same place. What I would wonder...
I need to stop you for just a second here. You're talking about the rewards and all that kind of stuff. That is a specific problem that they really need to address, BioWare I'm speaking of. You can go to Ilum. You can do your daily. You can do your weekly. After that, the only thing you can gain from Ilum, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys, but the only thing you can gain is Valor. And you can get more of that by running Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Damn you, Anla.
That's completely accurate.
You can get more of that by running the Battleground.
Whoa. Did Miri
Warzones.
just speak?
Was that Miri?
I
Nope,
think
that
that
was
was
me.
Miri.
Oh no, that was Alandra.
Who said
God damn it.
damn Anla?
I did because you
Why?
said Battlegrounds, and now Battlegrounds is what I'm
Oh,
sticking on here.
sorry.
The war zones are the only way that you can get the PvP gear. The PvP gear is a necessary component of PvP because you can only do the daily once a day, hence daily. Genius, right? You can only do the weekly once a week, hence weekly. So for the rest of your PvP needs, you need to go to war zones and do this stuff and get the gear. Ilum is pointless. Unless you are already Captain Gear, why the hell would you do anything more than your daily and your weekly there? It's a cool place to go. It's fun. It's got nice atmosphere. It's got cool, walker battles and stuff. But what do you care if there's nothing to do there?
It has
There's
pink
no incentive
lightsaber
for people to be there.
crystals.
They need to bring in something that will balance it out. So give us some Warzone commendations, or something that can be turned into Warzone or Merc commendations.
Give us rocket launchers. Give us rocket launchers we can blow other people up with.
Oh yeah, that's all you need, Alu. Something that fires rockets at other people.
We
Why
have
do I
one
have
of
a
those.
I
feeling
can
as soon
jump
as that
at
went
him,
live,
push him
guys.
you
away,
will me.
jump at him again, then force choke him, and then blow rocket in his face.
Guys, you have
God.
something like that. It's called a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
I want the rocket
Yeah,
launcher from
but
Illum.
he
You
wants it
haven't
on a
seen it yet,
tank.
but if you see
You hear
it,
that,
you won't
BioWare?
have it.
Anlu wants tanks that fire rockets, but not bounty hunters, Juggernauts. You should get on that right now, since you think they need buffs. Now, I mean, the people who have experience out here in Ilum, let me know if you think this is a good idea, and Denson, feel free to cut this at this point if everyone thinks this is bad. Instead of it being a daily out there in Ilum that you go do this, have it be a constant. Have it give you tokens for a bag. Have it give like 100 Warzone commendations, or even 200 Warzone commendations, so that you have to go and do it like 3 or 4 times in a day. Cut it back. Make it so it's not 5. Make it so you need to go and accomplish 3 of the objectives or something. But allow it to run all day. Yeah, people would gear it for PvP faster, but okay, new people in PvP would love this. Old people in PvP would have more people to play with, and it would make Ilum a constant hotspot if people could run this stuff all day. As long as there's people out there flipping it and doing it, there would be reasons to be there, and I guarantee if you had reason to be there all day, people would be fighting, not just flipping.
Yeah, and with the new system they're putting in that makes it so you have to fight people, you would be fighting people.
Yeah, have it be a flip and kill. Okay, you need to flip this, this, and this, so you got 3 objectives you have to do, and then X number of kills. And don't have it be just once a day. Because when people do it for that once a day, unless they're there with a guild group they're having fun with, they're just going to turn around and leave.
Or
like
also,
I said it, make it kill people so you can blow shit up.
Even completely change the how the objectives are caught. Make it so that whoever can make it into like a command point. Whoever controls this command point will have their walkers there, and you have to capture a certain amount of command points. People will fight for all these command points. Because you have to capture command points to get the what do you call them?
Or make it like you have to hold a specific point for a specific time on the day. Like I don't know. I would even say make the objective capture one point and hold for an hour.
Then people have
no
to play
time
longer
restraints
than they
because
want.
people can't play around the clock.
Mhm.
That caters
Okay,
to
right.
some people, and it was a horrible idea in WoW when they did it with their stupid little Warzone there.
Ah, right. I forgot. Sorry. It was so
Do you
awful.
remember
I
sitting
never
in
did
queues
it.
trying to get on that and then ending up on a bridge just to be removed because you weren't in the queue?
I
That was
stopped the
horrible.
second time. I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah. So was that anything along the lines of what you were talking about there, Anla, or did I just go off on a completely blind tangent?
It was. I'm just saying that they've got this amazing place in Ilum, which I can't wait to go to, and I'm probably the wrong person to say this because I've never actually been there. But it seems to me like they are giving us all these PvP changes targeted at open world PvP. The problem is there are
I'm gonna
changes
use it in
targeted. Exactly, there are changes that are targeted at open world PvP that are abusable in war zones. So if both open world PvP and war zones end up in the same place eventually, why am I ever going to open world PvP? But
Well, obviously, so you get
that-
your dailies done.
But that right there is what I want to talk about next time. So
Sounds
let's
good to me.
that way we've got like a thing to think about for the next couple of days before we get back together and start recording again. So let's draw a line here, underline it, full stop, exclamation mark. Denson, are you still with us, or have you fallen asleep at your keyboard?
Almost the latter, but
All right.
Nice comeback,
So,
bro.
let's have you wrap this up. And no, we're not talking about Christmas, Valek.
Oh.
Are we talking about Jedi Six Pits?
Yes.
No.
Let's talk about that. Oh, God damn it.
Got it.
Almost made it there. Almost.
All right. Denson wants me to wrap it up, apparently. So I will go ahead and say that in the style of Macbeth, and when shall we three meet again? But there's more than that. The three of us. Next time we get together, we're going to go straight, feet first, into the discussion of war zones and open world PvP and what we think we can do theorycraft to make the two live together in perfect harmony, ebony and ivory, blah 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 blah. So I will wrap this up by saying it has been an absolute pleasure to kind of listen to you guys answer my questions. Thank you very much.
Actually didn't bullshit.
We didn't do a whole lot of bullshit, it's true. We did do some. Now, Denson and I have been talking in the background about possibly releasing this as 2 mini-sodes, or just going to try some different stuff. So if we do release this as 2 mini-sodes, thank you for listening to the other one as well. We will see you next time.
I'm Yoda.
Catch you later.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay, so we can do the Jedi Sex Pit and bring your little redhead friend if you want.
Yes.